what I want to do today, okay, I want to answer the question, how do you stop being so damn hard on yourself? And how can you stop self-sabotaging and get out of your own way so you can reach your goals faster, and getting to your goals is not so damn exhausting because you're battling with yourself the whole time, okay? So, who on this call, who listening to me right now is a self-sabotager? Put your hands up. Everybody is. Otherwise, we'd be walking around in our bikinis all the time because we'd have a six-pack, no problem, right? So we all, in some way, shape, or form, we're self-sabotagers. Myself included. One of my worst habits that I'm constantly working on, I'm much better now, but I still struggle with it, is I am so good. I am a master at convincing myself I'll get to it later. I am a master. You know, like I'm too tired in the morning, or I want to keep working and I'll do my cardio later, right? Or I'll get to my workout later, or I'll meal prep later, right? And in that moment, I'm convinced I'm telling the truth. I'm convinced I'm definitely going to fit it in later. I'm sold. I've sold myself, right? And then what happens every time? No way, never fit in. It just slips away. Never, 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 ever have I ever gotten to it when I've said I will get to it later. Ever. So the evidence is there proving that that thought is wrong, but I'm still really good at convincing myself that I believe it in the moment. And that's something I'm always working on. So everybody has their own kryptonite in that sense. That one's mine. You know what yours is. And I want to kind of talk through how we can get around that, or how we can kind of come to terms with where we're at. So again, you're not fighting yourself, right? So what I want to do is I want to show you a picture. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture really quick. And I want you to tell me your first thoughts of what this woman is, what she does, who she is, her traits, her habits, okay? So this is the woman. So take a second and you tell me what you think about her, okay? We're not judging her. I don't know who this woman is. It's just a stock photo. It's a woman, overweight, struggling to fit into her pants, right? So put in the comments, what do you think about this woman? Do you think you can tell some things automatically off the bat about her? Her habits, how she thinks about herself, what's important in her life, her priorities, right? So in the comments, it's a judgment-free zone. What do you think of that picture when you see it? And be honest. So we got not happy with her body. Yes. So this overweight woman. Yes, lazy. All right, now we're going. Yep, she's thinking, what happened? I don't recognize my body. Exactly. So why am I showing you this picture? Keep going, keep getting those thoughts. When you see somebody who's overweight, when you see that, what does our mind automatically do? We start making assumptions, right? And you know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, right? We've been told that our whole life. But here's the thing. When it comes to weight, and you looking at a body or looking at your own body, if you are overweight, there are some assumptions that you can make, right? There are. It's fact, right? So that picture I showed, that overweight woman trying to squeeze into her jeans, she probably has the best intentions in the world, but her body is a result of her lifestyle, right? Your body is a symptom of your lifestyle, right? Your lifestyle is what needs to be cured, not your body. If you cure the lifestyle, the body changes. So looking at a body like that, you can say, you know what? She's possibly lazy, or maybe because she's so heavy, she's tired and fatigued and doesn't make time to work out. She's not organized and probably doesn't meal prep. She's probably inconsistent with her eating habits. Like, there's lots of assumptions you can make when you look at somebody who's overweight, right? And when you were at your heaviest, or when you were at your most uncomfortable weight and uncomfortable in your body, how did you feel? Probably the same as that woman. Let me know how you felt. Gross, unhappy, right? Even if people said, oh, you look great, it doesn't matter. It's what you think, right? And you weren't happy. And what were some of your habits? Is it fair to say when you were your heaviest, you were lazy, you were unorganized, health was not a priority, right? That's not a judgment. That's an educated assumption, right? And so the point I want to get here is that picture I showed you of the struggling, that overweight woman, right? And then you and your heaviest or your unhappiest, right? You thought the same thing about both, right? But sometimes it's easier to pass judgment on someone else than it is to reflect and be honest about yourself. Do you get where I'm going with this? If you look at someone and you list off all the preconceived notions that pop into your head immediately, guess what? It's probably the same about you. It's probably the same about you. And you probably need to hear that the most. You're probably hiding from those things. Okay? And then that's where our inner saboteur comes out and tries to fight that, right? And we try to convince ourselves that it's either not as bad as we think, right? I'm also really good at that, right? It's not as bad as I think. You know, I'm not that overweight. Oh, hey, I lost 5 pounds. Maybe I'm on a good path, right? We convince ourselves it's not as bad as we think. Or on the complete other spectrum, depending on our mindset, we think we're a complete failure and this is a waste of time and we should just give up altogether, right? We live in these extremes. And what I want you for you to take away from this little part in that picture is that, you know, if that's what you think about a stranger, that's what you think about yourself. And if you think that about yourself, how could you possibly ever live your best life? How could you possibly ever truly, unconditionally love anybody else if you think that about yourself, right? If you truly believe and you look at your habits and you analyze your habits and you say, wow, I'm lazy, I'm an excuse maker, like all these things that we can list off as to why we are where we are. If that's who you are, how could you ever fully love that if you aren't actively making moves to become better? And that's where a lot of us get stuck. We get stuck thinking we are who we are, right? But in reality, if you're listening to me right now, you've already made the conscious decision to become something else and to make a change. So regardless of if those things you think about yourself are true, they're not going to be true tomorrow. They're going to be less tomorrow. And then another week, and then a month, and then a year goes by, and that's not you anymore. So that little voice in your head shooting you down all the time, maybe it's right sometimes. Maybe it has a point, but it doesn't matter, because just because it's true right now doesn't mean it's definite tomorrow. It can always change. So use that thought of, this isn't how it's going to stay forever. This isn't permanent. It's temporary. I'm actively making a decision. I've proven to myself that I'm going in the right direction. I'm surrounding myself with the right people to get me there. I can feel this negative emotion in the moment and be okay, because I know I'll be okay and I'll be better tomorrow. Does that make sense, ladies? And so that's kind of how I want to make that correlation, okay? Now, I want you to look at this picture and you tell me what pops into your head. Look at that. Toned abs. What pops into your head when you look at somebody with abs? What do you think that person is or does or has? Who's a person with abs to you? Fit, pride, athletic. I want that. Confident, fitness trainer, committed. Yes. So when you look at somebody with abs, you think dedicated, driven, committed, organized, a deep purpose, right? These are all these things you see. Automatically, that's what you think. And so this brings me to my next point and the most important point of this call, okay? The 3 stages of growth. So listen up closely. So there's 3 stages of growth, and these 3 stages apply to pretty much any area of life, okay? So there's 3 stages of growth in a marriage, in a career, in your weight loss journey, okay? There's kind of 3 stages that you're going to go through and that you can continue to go through. Once you've gone through 1, 2, and 3, you reach a new level and you start from 1 again and go 2, 3, okay? So this is an ever-evolving chain of growth. Now, if you want abs, right? And do you want abs? Yes, everybody wants abs. Yes, it's just everybody's head's going up and down. Everybody wants abs. So if you want abs, all those words you just stated about that picture you saw, you have to be that. Does that make sense? You have to be committed. You have to be a driven person, a determined person, an organized person. You cannot have the traits of the person of the other picture I showed you if abs and a toned flat stomach is your goal. 3 plus 3 does not equal 4, right? The equation is messed up. And so what I'm getting at here, and this is crazy, So the 3 stages of growth is this, okay? So number 1 is skill acquisition, skill development. Number 2 is trait development. And number 3 is belief development. So skills, traits, and beliefs. So if you want to grow to the next level, right, which you do, because the next level is where you lose more weight, you get more tone, you reach that dream body faster, okay? You want to get to that next level, you have to acquire the skill set to get there. And then once you've acquired the skill, you have to develop the character traits to become good at those skills. And then once you develop the traits, you have to develop new beliefs to turn into a new person each time, okay? So let's break this down. So in the beginning of your journey, you're looking for skills. So if we're embarking on our weight loss journey, you are looking for skills, right? I want to know how to meal prep. I want to know proper form in an exercise. I want to know how I can, have balance with my food, eat the things that I want and still see results. Like, you want to know these things. You want to know these skills, right? Simple baseline skills that we've given you at Fit Queen, the foundation, right? You now have the skills. But here's the thing, is knowing the skills enough to see the work, to see the results? No, right? Knowing is not enough. So that's where the second stage of growth happens. This is where you develop traits. So you are actually shifting your identity. You are developing character traits of a person who is a master of those skills you started with, okay? So follow me on this. So an example of a skill you need to be successful in weight loss is saying no. Standing up for yourself and saying no, right? We can all agree that's an important skill, whether it's food related or not, right? Along this journey, sometimes you just get a backbone altogether, right? So you say no. So no, I don't want that cake for my birthday, whatever, right? But you don't become good at saying no if you don't practice saying no, right? And so who are the people that are good at practicing saying no? They are the people that are committed, determined, driven, organized, fit. So these are character traits you need to start to embody. Without these traits, without you aligning your identity with somebody who is driven and determined and committed, without you having those baseline traits, you cannot become an expert at the skill. Is this making sense? Right? A carpenter only becomes a great carpenter because he practices being a carpenter. How does he practice? Well, he's dedicated to the craft. He gets up every day and he practices, and he becomes an expert at those skills because of the traits he was developing. So being good, so I get this question all the time. How do I get better at saying no? How do I get better, or how do I stop binge eating, right? Well, you don't look for more information. You use the information you already have, and you just become good at using it. You practice using it. And that's why so many women go their entire life never reaching their potential. Always living at like a 5 out of 10 happiness, just coasting in life. Coasting in life. Just surviving, not thriving. Because they think to lose weight, to be happy, to have a good relationship, you need to keep acquiring more skills. When in reality, it's not about the number of skills you have. It's about how good you become at those skills. And that's what women forget. They don't ever make it to step number 2. They're stuck at step number 1 consistently forever, right? You try this diet, it doesn't work. Let me go find something else. Instead of trying to make what you tried in the first place work. Is this making sense? So this is a huge concept. So many women get stuck just thinking they need to acquire new skills, acquire a new way, learn a new way to lose weight. This isn't the right way. Let me learn another way, right? But if you get stuck in that cycle, you're in that skill bubble forever of just becoming good at something. But the difference between someone who's successful and has the body of their dream and someone who doesn't, they're great at what they do. They're great at a certain number of skills, not good at everything. They're great at certain skills. And that's what I need you guys to understand. And this is like really, really near and dear to my heart right now, because this is what I'm personally going through in my journey and in my growth right now. I've made it through that cycle a few times. I've developed the skills. I've developed the person I need to be to become an expert at those skills. I've broken some beliefs. And now I'm again acquiring new skills to take me to the next level. And now I'm starting to, I'm really struggling developing the traits. right? The traits of strengthening your follow-through muscle. Because at every level, you have to get new traits. Does that even sound remotely easy? Developing a new character trait, not just a new habit, not just a new piece of information you learned on a YouTube video in 5 minutes. That's easy to do, right? Developing traits, becoming at your core who you need to become an expert at saying no, an expert at meal prepping, an expert at balanced eating without binging, an expert at working out when you don't want to. These are skills that you've done before, but you forget that we need to practice them. You forget that you're not just trying to get these skills under control, you're trying to develop who you are to be good at executing the skills, right? And sometimes you don't feel like you're good at execution, right? Sometimes you feel like a big bag of shit, for lack of a better term. You're like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I so stuck? Why am I plateauing? Or maybe you haven't felt like that, but I guarantee you will in the future. It's only a matter of time till you go through your waves of plateaus and getting stuck mentally and physically. And you think, I'm missing something. You think there's something wrong, right? And you go looking for something else, somebody tell me the secret, help me out, give me the thing that will pull me out of this. But it's nothing. Go back to the basics. Just practice the foundation you started with. And remember, it's not about the skills. You've already made it past level 1, ladies. You know the skills. You got the meal plan. You got the amazing workouts. You got the accountability and the support you need to talk you through it and keep pushing you forward. You have the foundation. But when are you going to start developing the traits? When are you going to align yourself with somebody who stumbles 1,000,000 times but gets back up 1,000,001 times? When is that going to be you? Not something you say you are, but when is that actually going to be who you are? And I don't have the answer for that. It's different for everybody. Some people, it takes a long, 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 long time. But my question to you is, are you going to give up before you get there? What if it takes years to have the traits, to finally be good at doing your cardio in the morning when you said you should do it, instead of saying you'll do it in the afternoon? When are you finally going to be that person? And are you going to stop short before you do become that person? That's my challenge to you, right? If I told you, you're going to lose all your weight and have the perfect body you could ever imagine, like beyond your wildest dreams, but it's going to take 10 years to get there. But once you get there, you're going to maintain it forever, ever, and you'll never struggle again. You'd be like, okay, I'm down, right? Like, that's not a sweet deal. Sure, I can suffer through 10 years. I'm okay with that if it means I'm never, ever going back, right? Well, that's what we're doing here in Fit Queen. It took me 10 years to figure it out. It took me 10 years. It took me the hard way. I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superwoman. I'm just a regular girl who lost 70 pounds the hard way. The grueling way. And now I help people and I get up every day and help them do it the easy way. And so knowing you guys have it the easy way, knowing that I'm fast tracking these results for you, I need you to take that thought and use it to fuel you, to push you through those times where you don't feel like it, where you're self-sabotaging, where you're being way too hard on yourself because you're falling off, because you're stuck. When you're being hard on yourself for not being perfect, I want you to remember that it's not because you don't know what to do. It's because it's really hard to develop character traits. It's really hard, and it takes practice. And practice takes a long time to show up in real life. Do you know what I mean? All the practice you're putting in before the big game, right? It takes a lot of time until it actually shows up for the game. Whenever that game is, whenever your big moment is. Right? Your big test, your trigger test. So I want you to just, number one, remember and keep it in your mind that if you have all these negative thoughts about yourself, it's normal. And maybe they're true. And it's okay that they're true. But you need to realize that they're not going to be true forever, because you constantly take a step forward every day by being here, by listening to these coaching calls, okay? And that if you're stuck, when you get stuck in the future, stop looking for more knowledge. Use the knowledge you already have. Become the person who's good at these things, who's an expert at these skills, not just somebody who's tried it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Somebody who's an expert. How long do you think it takes to become an expert at something? What would you say? Would you rather go to a doctor who's been a doctor for 40 years or 1 year? Which one would you trust more? Which one would you think knows more? Which one do you think is better at it? Right? The one that's been practicing for years and years and years. And that's what you need to remember. Buckle down. This is a journey. And that's okay. It can be a fun journey. It can be an enjoyable journey. It should be an enjoyable journey. You're going to be learning a lot about yourself. And you're going to be having a lot of fun. And you're going to, you got your sisters, all your Fit Queen sisters along the way with you. So buckle down. Remember, this is a journey. It's not about the destination. It's not about getting there as fast as possible, although it will fast track, which is awesome. But you're going to run into speed bumps because building traits is hard. Skills are easy. You can Google anything, right? The other day I was having a conversation with Ryan and I was like, how did people find information without Google? I'm like, I would not go to a library, go through those little thick of things with all the papers looking for shit. I'm like, no way. And that's the equivalent of what I did to lose weight. I'm like, no way. So that's what I want to do. I'm like your Google, guys. I'm your Google for information. I love that. I just figured that out now. I'm going to use that all the time now. So use that, take advantage of it. Stop harping in the moment, right? I'm not saying don't feel bad for yourself. Don't pity yourself. Those are all natural emotions we're going to go through for a second. In that moment, I need you to pull yourself out and be like, this is temporary. I'm working towards my goal. And to get to my goal and to pull me out of it and prove that I'm not going to stay here, I need to just practice the information I've already been given, use it instead of searching for more, thinking there's a better answer out there. There's no better answer. You need to get better at using the answer you already have. Does that make sense, ladies? Very, very big concept. When I use the word character trait, right, that's something that you really need to understand the gravity of, like, developing a trait. I wish there was a better word to kind of explain how hard something like that is. So I want you to really reflect on those 3 stages. Right? So skill development, trait development, and belief development. And what do those 3 mean to you? What are the skills you need to be good at this? What are the skills you need to be successful in weight loss? Okay, write them down, remember them. What are those skills? And what are the traits of somebody who's already an expert at those skills? And then instead of focusing on the skills, you focus on the traits of the expert. And that's where you put your energy, on being those traits. Does that make sense? And then once you become those traits, you then kind of automatically you'll go into the beliefs, and you'll shift some beliefs you have because of the person you're becoming. And then once you hit that phase, then you level up and you start from 1 again. And it's a constant cycle, and it's super exciting. So really, really, really sit down and think, what are the skills you need? What is an expert? What are the traits of an expert who has those skills already, right? And then focus and double down on those traits and be that person, embody those traits instead of harping on the information all the time. Okay?